Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Self-Starter Podcast. I am so excited about recording today's episode because this one just hits differently. I wish I would have known all of these things back before I hired. I wish I would have hired a long time before I actually pulled the trigger on it. I waited way too long, and I'm hoping that today's episode will help you. If you don't know my story, I hired my very first employee, Jenna, who still works for me, back in 2020. And quite frankly, my business was not doing that well, but I was beyond burned out. I did not have the capacity to do everything that I needed to do. And I knew that I was kind of at a fork in the road. Either I just stay stagnant or I take this leap of faith and I hope that it all works out and then I can grow my business. But I knew that something had to change if I wanted to grow. There's that saying, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. And that is exactly how I feel about hiring. I was full speed ahead, running everything on my own, but I was at a point that I only have 24 hours in a day. I obviously need to sleep and eat and, care for myself and my personal life. And so I just did not have any more time to do literally anything else. Hiring was the only option, but that option felt impossible and also terrifying. Fast forward, I am beyond grateful that I took that step because my businesses would not be where they are today had I not hired anybody, obviously. I mean, right now, my storefront is open. I have 2 people working at the storefront right now. What's crazy is that it was scarier hiring Jenna for like 5 to 10 hours a week than it is to have a team of 12 and have multiple people. Every single day of the week, I have a minimum of 2 people clocked in from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., 7 days a week. And then there are also a couple of people who work slightly different hours or they work remote. So there are multiple people clocked in 7 days a week, basically all day. And that is less scary now than it was to hire Jenna for a very flexible, like 5 to 10 hours a week. If you are relating to that, I totally understand, and I have been where you are right now, and it is terrifying. I am not going to sugarcoat that. It is very scary to hire your first employee, but I'm going to share with you some tips on how to navigate that and how to make it worth your while. Hello, and welcome to the Self-Starter Podcast, where I'll be sharing the highs, the lows, and everything in between when it comes to building a product-based business. I'm Brithinee, and I started my business making beaded bracelets in my living room. Over the last 8 years, I've turned it into 2 successful businesses with over 10 team members and a busy storefront. Needless to say, I've learned a lot along the way. This show is for no gatekeeping and no fluff, just the lessons I've learned, the mistakes I've made, some funny stories I've gathered along the way, and the honest truths you need to hear. We'll talk about the big decisions, the moments no one can prepare you for, and those times you realize that it's worth all the sleepless nights. Think of me as your business big sister, here to cheer you on while you build a business that truly feels like you. If that sounds like what you need, you are in the right place. Let's get into it. Real talk right now, somebody just started doing construction outside. I really hope that you can't hear that, but this is my second time trying to record this because last week I started recording this episode and I found out that my son's school was doing an Easter egg hunt, but we needed to be there and I last minute mid-episode had to leave. So I had to scrap that. So I don't really have another opportunity to film this. So hopefully you cannot hear that, but that is just the real life of what is happening outside of my window right now. Here are some signs that it's time to hire. First of all, you're maxed out. You are working tirelessly, but you still don't feel like you're getting everything done on your to-do list. 2, you are turning down opportunities. That could be anything. That could be a pop-up. That could be having your products in a store because you don't have time to make them. It could be sales in any way. Somehow you are turning down opportunities that could help you grow your business. Number 3, you're doing tasks that you hate or that you're not good at. And don't get me wrong, I do not want this to be mistaken. There are absolutely going to be things that you do not enjoy doing that you have to do because at the end of the day, that is just life. You're not going to love every single aspect of your job. But if there are certain things that you are just not good at, number 4, your customer experience is not as high as it was before. So that could be your response time to customers for your customer service. That could be the quality of your products. Maybe you're rushing and you're not providing the same quality to every single customer. That could be any aspect of your customer experience. Maybe your website is glitching because you haven't had time to look at it. When you're beyond busy, it's really easy to let small things fall by the wayside, and you don't even realize that these small little things are slipping through the cracks until you have a big issue on your hands. And then lastly, if you want to scale your business, it's probably time to hire, because it's really, really hard to scale a business on your own. I feel like we're doing a little flow chart right now. So if any of those little bubbles applied to you, if you answered yes, then move down to the yes column. If you answered no, then maybe you're fine being a solopreneur right now, which is absolutely, totally okay. If you answered yes though, let's move on. Now that you know you should hire somebody, who the heck are you even hiring? How do you start? What does the process look like? First up, write out a list of everything that you are doing that you do not like or that you're not good at. And I want to just include this. I know that this is going to seem weird because this is a business podcast, but this does not necessarily have to be business related tasks. So if you spend a lot of time food prepping or doing laundry, if you have a family and you're doing all of your family's laundry, cleaning the house, all of those things can be included. If those things are taking up time that you could be spending in your business and you would be better off using that time in your business, then maybe those are the first things you outsource. Me looking at my life right now and the things that I'm in charge of in my business and in my life, I would really like to outsource a house cleaner. I think that would be really great for us to just have a clean start in our house. It's just really hard for my husband and I to keep up with. And I've been trying to do a deep clean of something small, like every day or every few days, but it just feels like it's never done and it's really frustrating. And quite frankly, I don't like doing it. It stresses me out that our house isn't fully clean all the time. Like, it'd be nice if there was just like a fresh start all the time, but it feels like as soon as I'm finished doing one thing, there's still a million other things that need to be done. So it would be really, really nice if we just had somebody come in once every other week and do a nice clean refresh. So that's something that we're looking into. Another thing I personally don't like dealing with is the financials. So doing the taxes and the bookkeeping is just not my thing. I'm not good at it. It's frustrating for me. And so I outsource that. You also don't have to start looking at somebody who's going to be a full-time position in your company. You can hire a contractor or a freelancer. Maybe you're not good at social media and you want to hire a contractor to make 3 reels per week for you. Or you hire a VA to answer all of your customer service questions or answer all of your DMs or engage on social media. There are a lot of different avenues to go down before hiring somebody full-time. You can also hire somebody part-time and have them help you on an as-needed basis with events or pop-ups or anything like that. Starting small is just one of the best ways to dip your toes in without feeling that immense pressure of being in charge of somebody's sole salary. Next, take a look at your numbers and see what realistically you can afford, and then also what are the revenue generating jobs that you can hand off. From the outside, having somebody come to my house and fold my laundry may not seem like it would make me money, but freeing up my time so that I can do the revenue generating jobs would make me money. So you can look at it that way, but also if you hire somebody to do customer service and answering inquiries about pop-ups or doing all of the outreach for you to get more pop-ups and apply to markets, that could be a huge revenue generating job. So that's something that would be great to outsource to a VA. Your focus when you start hiring is what is going to free up the most time for you to be able to focus on the things that you're good at that will help grow your business. When you do finally decide what you need, clearly define what that role is before you hire somebody. The role should be defined in both the amount of work so that you expect from them. So if that's 5 to 10 hours a week, or if that's 3 reels per week, or that's 15 hours a month, whatever that looks like. And then also how much you will pay them for that, whether that's hourly, per project. And then it should also be defined by the actual role. If you hire somebody to do social media and then you're frustrated with them that they don't know how to balance your books, that's just not fair. So be clear in who you're hiring and what you're hiring them for. This next part will probably be the hardest for you to do if you have been a solopreneur for a while now, and that is switching your mindset from being the doer of all things to the delegator of most things. So getting that leader mindset in check is harder than it seems like it should be. I'm not going to pretend like I am perfect in all of these aspects because I am absolutely not. I am trying to be the best leader that I can be today, but I have changed a lot over the years. I have evolved as a human. I've grown up as a human. I've matured. I have made a lot of mistakes in the past, and I am continuing to make mistakes because I'm human. So don't think that you should have it right when you start hiring people. Number one, this was absolutely the hardest part of hiring for me, and that is letting go of control. In general, I am just a very particular person. I like things the way that I like them. I want them to be done my way. And I'm also a Capricorn, which means that a lot of times I think my way is the right way, even though there are multiple different paths to get to the same destination. A lot of times my brain just does not see it that way. Learning how to just trust somebody and give them the reins and let them mess up and then teach them how to fix it and do better next time is seriously crucial. When Jenna first started working for me, she would write social media captions and then I would edit the captions. She could look at them and then see what I had changed. And over time, she was getting to know the brand voice. And now she literally writes emails and signs my name, and they are basically exactly what I would say. Sometimes I'll tweak like a word or two, but now she just knows me and she knows the brand voice and she knows the ins and outs of the business, but that was learned over time. That took me giving her small bits of responsibility and then over time trusting her more and more and more. And now she literally could put out anything publicly into the world for either of my businesses, and I would fully trust whatever she put out. What's funny is that then when we started hiring more people, she's the one who had the issue letting go of control because she liked things the way that she liked them. She was used to her workflow and she didn't want other people messing that up. And so then I had to teach her the thing that I had already gone through at that point. And now that's happened with a few other team members where they get weary when we start hiring more people and they have to teach them how to do their job because they don't want things messed up. So it is really funny that the more your team expands, the more people who have to go through that transition. The next transition into becoming a leader is delegating. Delegate, delegate, delegate. Everything that doesn't need your hands on it should be delegated off. Actually, I'm going to retract that. I probably should edit that out, but I'm not going to. There are certain things that you do not need to do, but you will still be doing them, especially in the early phases of hiring. You're not going to hire out everything, obviously. But learning how to delegate the things that don't need your specific touch is so crucial. When I first started hiring, all the jewelry that we made in-house was made by me. And now I still make all of the bracelets, but I cannot tell you the last time I welded a permanent bracelet on somebody. Actually, I can. It was like a month ago, but I don't work at the store anymore. So I'm not really customer facing anymore. That is a huge transition going from being the only person who welds people to now being somebody who literally never does it. That is just something that does not need my hands in it all the time. I've trained my team. They know how to deal with our customers. They provide amazing customer service in the store. I know that my customers are well taken care of with the team members I have in place at the store. And that is really important to me. That is my baby. Our customers are everything to me, and I know that they're taken care of. There are also tasks that only I do. Those are the tasks that just cannot be handed off right now, and that's okay as well. Next is communication. You have to be in constant communication with your team so that everyone is on the same page. Because if you're both running, but you're running in opposite directions, sometimes you won't even realize it until you've gotten so far away that resentment can build very quickly. One of the things I like to do is train somebody and then shadow them. So see how they do it and then make any adjustments if we need to, and then let them off on their own. But I think that giving feedback on a regular basis is really important. And I think that just continuing to have the same goals in mind is also very, very important. If you are just telling your team to do things, hey, post about Mother's Day coming up on social media. Okay, but why? If they don't know the reason, they don't know the why, they don't know what's happening behind the scenes, it's hard to buy them into your business and to your ideas and to the long-term goals. But if they're in it with you and they know why they're doing something, they're way more likely to be successful in the role. Lastly is a big shift. And to be completely honest with you, I'm still struggling with this. I feel like over the past month or so, I've been better, but that's also just because of a lot of stuff happening in my life that I haven't been at the store as much. But embracing the CEO role. So embracing the leadership role, being able to strategize and look at the bigger picture and kind of be the spearhead of the business as opposed to working in the business all the time. You can work on the business. And that's something that I've been doing way more lately, which I've been enjoying it way more, quite frankly. I love designing new pieces. I love coming up with the fun promotions we're going to do. I love strategizing on how to grow the business. Those are the things that need my touch. And so those are the things that I should be focusing my time on. Customer service emails can be answered by somebody else. Helping the customers in the store can be done by somebody else. But there's nobody else who's going to strategize how to grow my business other than me. We've now gone through the signs on if it's time to hire, who you should hire and what you should hire them to do, and also the mindset shifts once you do start hiring. I now want to share some of the common mistakes and what you can do to avoid them. First of all is a mistake that I think most people make, and that is hiring too late. I actually did this a long time ago. I was running a different business and I was drowning in work. We basically went viral on Pinterest, and I had hundreds and hundreds of phone calls and emails from people inquiring to work with me. And I did not have the bandwidth to reply to everybody. And then things got so out of hand that I didn't have time to hire. So I was at a point that I needed somebody, but I didn't even have time to hire or interview or find somebody, let alone then go train them. If you're at a point that you're too busy to train somebody, it's probably later to hire than you should have started. Next is micromanaging, which I do not micromanage. If I hire you to do a job, I'm going to trust that you're going to do the job. And then if you don't, then we'll reevaluate. But micromanaging people makes them feel like you don't trust them, like they are not able to do a good job. And then they'll question why they even got hired if you're just going to stand there and watch them do their job anyway. So if you're going to hire people, let them do their job, give them space to do it, and do not critique every single little thing. Like I said before, there's multiple paths that end up at the same destination. Even if it's not the way that your brain works, maybe they will have a better way for you. And then give feedback when needed. Another mistake that I personally have made in the past is hiring kind of out of desperation, where I was hiring too fast. So you should always hire slow, fire fast. So you hire slow so that you make sure that they're a right fit for your business, with your culture and with the role. And then if you realize at any point that somebody is not working out, whether they are not effective in their job or they're not a culture fit, you fire fast, because having a bad apple on the team is not a good situation and it rots everybody else around them. So you hire slow and you fire fast. But when you're going through the hiring process, there have been times that I have hired fast simply because I felt like I really needed somebody and I was ignoring the company culture. And then sure enough, they just didn't fit it. And then you can tell so quickly that it's not going to work out. And quite frankly, that sucks. It sucks having somebody on the team that doesn't fit the culture, that you know doesn't want to be there, that you know just shouldn't be on the team. Another mistake I've seen a lot is not having systems set up. And this is something that when you're a small company, like this has been something that I've had team members help set up systems in the past because we didn't have them yet and we were growing and we needed to get them set up. But not having any systems or certain ways that you do things or you take care of your customers leads to a lot of confusion on an employee's part. If you have somebody answering customer service emails, but they don't even know what your brand voice is, there's no way that they will be able to be successful in their role if you have not then defined that for them. Which leads me to my last one, which is not defining any of the roles clearly. There's no way for someone to be successful in their job if they don't have the tools set up already to help them become successful. Transitioning from a solopreneur to a team leader is a massive transition, but it is such a rewarding one. It helps you grow your business and it helps you escape burnout by really focusing on the things that you are good at, that you should be focusing on, that are going to move your business forward so that you can be the visionary of your business, and then delegating the tasks so that all of those dreams can come to life. Just know that you are not alone in this. It is terrifying taking that first step to hire somebody, but believe me when I tell you, it is so unbelievably worth it. It will honestly transform your business and it will buy you back your time, which is truly the most valuable thing we have in this life. All right, that is everything for this episode. I really hope that you found it valuable. I would love it if you DM'd me on Instagram. Let me know if you are thinking about hiring, if you have hired somebody. Let me know all the things that you're dealing with. I'm just at Sarah Brithinee on Instagram. And of course, please subscribe to this podcast and give it a rating if you have not already. I would really appreciate it. All right, I will talk to you soon. Bye.